Everybody wants something that's fast, practical, and a bit special, but to find all three of those things in one car, that's the tricky bit. And that's where this comes in. The BMW 540i Touring, xDrive, space, it's practical, all without shouting about it. Not to mention, it's also got that glorious B58 that we all know and love. So today, I'm gonna be finding out whether this, the 540i Touring, is actually the perfect all-rounder. So the G31 5 Series Touring is, for me, peak BMW. Clean, balanced, and perfectly proportioned before everything went a tad bit oversized. And this one's finished in Mediterranean blue metallic with these 20-inch 759M gloss black wheels. It just looks right. Now, if there ever was a match made in heaven, for most people it would be this, the 540i with the B58 engine putting out around 330, 350, depending on what type of car it is, and 500 Newton meters of torque through this lovely ZF8 gearbox, which if pushed could return around 40 mpg on a long cruise. Now, pairing that with xDrive, you get quite a brutal setup. Now, most people probably wouldn't be buying this car for the engine alone. You'd probably be buying it for all of that space back there. I'm being brutally honest, I could probably fit 4 or 5 midgets in the boot, and then their suitcases. And that's the joy of having a Touring. Moving house, getting rid of rubbish, put the back seats down, and you could do it all day long, whilst then using this engine for when you get out to some open road, unlike all of this traffic that's in front of me here. And just within reach, we've got some fancy buttons down here which allow us to change the drive modes. We've got Sport, Comfort, Eco Pro, and Adaptive. Adaptive is probably where you want to leave it in, because it works in a really smart way. It judges the way you're driving, and as soon as you put your foot down, it says, hey, this guy wants to go somewhere. Let's give him sports mode. Let's firm up the suspension because it is adaptive. Let's tighten up the steering. And then as soon as you get on the motorway and you're cruising with very little input, it says, all right, this guy wants to be Little Miss Daisy, let's put everything into eco mode. So that's probably where you need it day to day. But personally, I like Sports Individual, because with Sports Individual, you can actually set up every single parameter of the car. That's your suspension, your steering weight, and the ferocity of the gear shift. Because not only does it have comfort and sport, it also has Sports Plus, almost mimicking how an M car would be. And inside, it's classic BMW. There's no huge tablet dominating the dash, just clear dials and proper buttons. And because it's a Touring, practicality's sorted. You've got this big flat floored boot, split tailgate, and loads of room for the family or luggage. And what I really love is how it soaks up all of these bumps as soon as you switch it into comfort mode. So if you're a businessman who needs the extra space, if you're a hitman that needs to put some bodies in the back, or like me, if you're a family man, the Touring is probably the one to get. And with the added weight with this being a Touring, I actually feel like it works in its favour, because you don't really want to be thrashing this thing on a B road. You want to use it for what it's made for. Practical, spacious, and if you're smart, efficient. And having this extra weight means you're not going to be throwing it around your B road. Sure, in a straight line, with the xDrive, you could put your foot down and just wait for it, and it just takes off. It'll do this all day long. And then when you've had enough, whack it back into drive, and it goes back to being nice, subdued, and slips under the radar. Lovely. And that's the joy of a Touring, not trying too hard to be a supercar beater or the fastest thing on 4 wheels. It's just a practical bit of kit. And something else that I've noticed is that the noise coming into this cabin, there isn't any. There is a lot of stuff going outside, and I can just about hear the wind of the cars going past, which tells me build quality, they haven't skimped on that. And where the 540i stands out is that it doesn't try too hard. Now, there is so many estates that keep knocking on the door of supercar power or performance figures. This has the performance, but it doesn't shout about it. All of that torque is all you need. 500 Newton meters of torque to get you out of trouble or to get you overtaken on the motorway is all you need, while still being able to roll around like an absolute boss. This really does have the potential to be a Jekyll and Hyde car, and that's definitely what you want. Spacious, practical, and at the push of a button, rapid. And if you ask me, the perfect all-rounder would be a spacious car, check. A quick car, for me. Not for the track, but for me. It's definitely quick, and for most people, it's a bit too quick. But you don't have to drive it like that. I have seen on Instagram, there was a lady, some guy was delivering post. It was nothing to do with the car. She had a 340i. This was like a 70-year-old woman. So it shows she knows about the efficiency and the ZF8 gearbox. That combo together is just winning. So the perfect all-rounder, what does that look like? Performance, it's there. Space, it's there. Practical, put the seats down all day. And the looks, luckily this one has everything you need. It's an absolute no-brainer. It just makes sense. And what makes even more sense is heading over to ftrperformance.co.uk and having a look at this beast.